Can you hear the music?
Yes.
Can you?
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. Hey, you're the first one in a long time that's been able to hear it.
Loud and clear.
Nice. I love it. Oh yeah. Can't wait to get lyrics out of this hopefully sometime this year.
Yeah.
This is my favorite part, right? There. The pause. Oh, it's more like it's babies. Not a banker. Not that we kick babies. Oh man. All right, welcome back to another episode of On the Throne with Dick, and shout out to Ascension Boychuk, man, for that intro outro music, and man, find him everywhere. But I'm pumped for this week's episode, man. What's going on, Haley? How are you?
Oh, good. Just got off work. Finally, hopefully get to stay home for the night, but you never know.
You never know, man. Like, we've been trying to plan this episode for get you on for what, a week or so.
Yeah. Yep.
About a week. Yeah, which is not bad. Some, I've been planning for 2-3 years. This is year 3 of the podcast, by the way.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're in year 3. This is first episode outside of my solo episode for the year, my first one. But this is the first episode of the year where I have someone else on, and year 3. You're on year 3. You're here.
Oh yeah.
What's up?
Just hanging out. It's cold. I'm over the winter already.
Oh man, I'm in northern Alberta, right? I'm in like northern Canada, and yeah, it all of December was like minus 30 something here, minus 40 something, whatever. We got more snow, 400 times more snow in Edmonton, where I live, than we've had in 30 years.
Wow.
And I think this has been like the coldest Alberta, or I don't know what it was. It was like we've had more precipitation since like they started recording that shit or something like that, which is, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. But now it's +7 outside.
Yeah, it was really cold, and we've got probably the most snow we've gotten in a few years. But this past week, it's been like 55. So now everything is melting. I've got to worry about trucks sliding off the road and all that stupid crap. And then we're going to get cold again. So now we got to deal with all the ice.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's what it's like here, right? We got to
Yeah.
chain up on a good day, right? Because
Mhm.
we're in the back 40 on shitty roads and lease
Yep.
roads. You know what it's like.
Yeah.
Up where I am in Fox Vegas, though, we're quite known in Fox Creek. We call ourselves Fox Vegas, I guess. But the strip when you roll into town, it's a little oil field town. You roll in on the strip, the beautiful bright lights of it reminds you of Vegas, and nothing. It's nothing like Vegas, but all
Right.
the sand haulers and the pumpers and the vac trucks and everything hauling rigs around and shit. And yeah, man, it's been crazy. It's kind of nice to be able to feel my fingers and my toes again.
Yeah. So it's the best feeling when you can get home and you finally have feelings back and all that stuff.
Yeah, I work. So do you get to go home every night? You work in the town you live in?
Yeah, for the most part, I get to go home every night. I mean, if I'm going downstate, or sometimes we'll do trips out of state to get equipment or trucks and stuff like that. But 99% of the time, I'm home every night. But I mean, I could always get a call out at 2 in the morning, or run 24 hours hauling water to a drill rig or something like that. So it's up and down, honestly.
I work on a vac truck, and I work 3 hours away from home. I come up for a couple weeks at a time, and then I go home. And now there's times where I've been away for months, many months at a time, and it's just the lifestyle.
Yeah.
You never know. I'm on call like the same as you, on call 24/7, and I think I tried to plan another podcast after you like, hey, I gotta go to bed, right? And I got back, and just as I was getting back, buddy's like, hey man, it's kind of getting close to the wire for recording a podcast, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. I don't know if I'm gonna get called out. He doesn't know if he's gonna get called out, right? And that's the hardest part about having a blue collar podcast, but also blue collar oil field on call 7. To make it 3 years into this podcast is absolutely mind boggling to me. The conditions in which I've done it on is crazy. But like this past week, I think is when I felt the most pressure with my podcast and with my schedule. Right. And it's nuts. It's nuts to me that, it's taken 3 years to feel the pressure of that, and yeah,
Mhm.
I don't know whether or not that's because, the first 2 years of that, it was kinda like, well, it's just a podcast, or even the first year, it's just a podcast. If it fails, it fails, whatever. But now we've got something, we've
Yeah.
grown and making money off of it. And now, like, I mean, we hit 28 countries in 2020. What year is this? 2025. And
Mhm.
we grew 1,000%, and there's people that listen to it all over the place. And I think that's kind of the pressure that I'm probably feeling right now. It's kind of like, hey, you're letting people down if maybe you don't put out an episode, right? And not just yourself. But that's not
Mhm.
it's not true. It's just my mind playing tricks on me, right?
No,
Yeah.
I'll definitely say the cool thing with your podcast, you have like what, almost 200 episodes now, or
Oh man, this will be like 159. So yeah,
okay, yeah.
159. Yeah.
Yeah, you're definitely getting up there. So there's definitely plenty, for newer people coming into the podcast, listening to it. There's so much, for new people to listen to. And why not always go back and, maybe someone getting into a trade, if they got into that, and they can go back and say, oh, well, now I understand that now too. So
Hell yeah.
that's
Hell yeah.
definitely,
I like that. That's a good one too. Like, so I was scrolling just before Christmas, and I saw your content, right? I was like, hey, fuck, I like Kaylee's. Actually, I think you sent me a message first.
yeah, yep.
But after you sent me the message, it must have moved your stuff into my feed, in my FYP. Because then you
Okay.
sent me the message, and then I started seeing your videos, and I'm like, oh, but I think I had messaged you back before I started seeing them, right? And then
Yeah.
one of those things happened. You messaged me, I messaged you back, and then I might have went to your profile, but then it started sending me your stuff, right? And I was like,
Okay.
hey man, like, why not get Haley on the podcast? Like, look, she's badass. She's a blue collar baddie, and she works in the oil field, and the Michigan oil field, which we talked.
Mhm.
Not a lot of people know that there's even an oil field in Michigan,
Yeah,
right?
yep. It's actually it's a pretty big oil field. They started it back in like the 70s, and it's mostly a lot of oil wells, and they haven't done a lot of like laterals and all that. So they're just punched all over up here. And now I'm definitely more downstream of the oil field, so servicing and maintaining and all that. But there's gonna be years and years of that to, still do. So there's a lot more stability in it on this side of things.
Oh yeah. How long have you been in the oil patch for?
I have been in it now for almost 9 years, since I started when I was 18.
Good for
I went
you.
out to Pennsylvania and started on, I got my foot in the door with water transfer out there just to start. And then I moved away from that quickly from the fracks. And then I was hauling some glycol out there. And then I went to doing flow back. And then after that, I came back up here.
Did you always have your CDL, or did you get that afterwards?
I had my CDL when I was 18, but being I moved out of state, I wasn't able to use it out of state. And then I finally switched everything out there when I turned 21. So then I, started using my CDL out there at that point.
That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. Like, with water transfer. Hey, how about them water transfer naps? Am I right?
They're terrible.
Man, I
That
think
was,
everything to do with frack is like, everyone's having a nap on site at some point.
yeah, which it's funny though, because when I was out there, the company we were working for, they would watch us more than anyone to make sure we weren't falling asleep. And if you fell asleep, they ran you off.
Yeah. Well, yeah, water transfer, right? You guys fuck up,
Yeah.
you're flooding the least, right?
Yeah, or dry hole, like that's not good either.
You guys have frack shack out there, like the frack refuelers?
Out in Pennsylvania we did. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, because I
Yes.
know when I worked for Frack Shack, um, they were sending guys out to like Pennsylvania and stuff like that to
Mhm.
train. That's how they got them over there to train. We were slow here, so like, oh, you're going on like a training mission or whatever to the U.S. of Pennsylvania and Texas and stuff like that. And when I worked for Frack Shack, man, we had an option, on the computer screen. You put it in manual or automatic, right?
Mhm.
And you're not supposed to ever put it in automatic, right? They want you
No.
awake, they want you watching. Well, like, I showed up, and for the first couple months, I was like pretty like, yeah, I'm important, like manual that stuff. And then, the one time I came in, I got a little what's that? Not competent. What's the word I'm looking for here? Complacent. I got a little
Okay.
complacent, and fucking buddy had one of those zero gravity chairs in there.
Oh
And
no.
I'm like, oh man, this is about to be a bad time, right? And so I
Yeah.
sat down and I leaned it back, and I'm like, I'm pretty. when I fall asleep hard, but like
Right.
I was pretty like cocky about how the fact that like, oh yeah, I can hear anybody coming. I'm good, you know. Well, the vac caller at the time, we were buddies, and he's like, I came in to see you last night, but you were out, right? Like I went up to you and whatnot, and you were just out. You wouldn't wake up. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? I would have heard that. And he's like, no, you didn't, right? And I was like, oh shit. And I think the worst part was one night I fell asleep, and then I woke up to an alarm going off on the screen. Right, I put it in automatic,
Oh no.
and the guys on the frackers on the radio were losing their shit. They're like, we're gonna have to shut down. This pumper's running out of fuel. Yada yada yada. I stood up. I put my finger at the screen, and the consultant walked in.
Oh no.
Yeah, yeah. And he's like, what's going on here? I'm like, I think the battery's dying, man. Like, it says here it's full. And it did. It said it was full. But like out there, and it's like, I don't need to tell you to stay in your own lane, do I? And then I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, what the
Right?
hell?
It scared the shit out of me. I ran out there, I changed the batteries quickly, and it was pretty much empty. But we put the batteries in, it started fueling it. They didn't have to shut down,
Mhm.
fucking crisis averted.
Yeah, just
And
called
then
it. Yeah.
I thought he was going to call my boss. So I called my boss. I ratted myself out. He never called.
Oh, that's lucky, but you still called your boss.
Yeah. Yeah. He never called, man. And yeah, I only worked there for like a year and a bit, and I got the fuck out of there. I was
Yeah.
networking with all the services on site, trying to leave, right? I'm like, I got to get out of here.
Mhm.
I was actually trying to become a wireliner.
Okay, yeah, I was wanting to get into that too, but the time I finally got my opportunity was when I ended up having my daughter, and me and my ex ended up moving back home. So it was like, man, I couldn't have this earlier.
I saw your video, like
Yeah.
something about believing in things that you still believe in, and it's like,
Mhm.
well, a lot of us believe in our ex husbands.
Yeah, yeah, believing in Santa Claus, same way believed in our ex or past relationship or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something like
yeah,
that. Yeah, yeah, that's the one. That's the
yeah.
one. What's it?
Uh,
Yeah, no, that's fucking. I love that. So like you fucking you work on the pumper truck, right? Like not a lot
yep.
of people know how pumper trucks work. Like, so what do? You roll up on site, and what?
So I run a 10K high pressure pump truck. Normally we use it for killing wells. So service rigs can come in and work on the well, doing treatments, chemical treatments down wells, pigging flow lines if they get plugged up. Just a wide variety of really just I kind of come in and fix stuff or kill it so that way other people can work on it, kind of thing.
Nice, nice. We got a 25K here in
That's a
town.
big
We're the
pump.
only company within 2 hours that has a pump truck, and like that pump truck was up way up farther north and to the east in Fort
Mhm.
McMurray, and it was the only one that our company had. So like it was up there, and the contract for that just ended, so they brought it here. And a lot
Okay.
of the companies that they call, like the oil companies call to bring in their pump trucks, are about 2 hours away, right? So now we have one right in town locally here, right? So now it's like,
That's
well,
really
what's
nice.
gonna happen to those other guys, right? So,
Right.
oh yeah, we just and they, I think the biggest ones they've got around here, like within the 2 hours, is the 10K ones, and we've got the
Mhm.
25K, right? So
Right.
yeah, I wonder what that's gonna do for us now, right? So yeah.
I mean, what would you guys even really do with 25? Just like killing wells and stuff like that?
I don't know. I wouldn't run it.
That's
I
a
don't know
pump.
nothing about a pump truck, right? I just know that there's a lot of pressure there, right?
Yeah,
That's all I
yeah.
know. That's all I know. I gotta talk to the guy that runs it, but there apparently we only have two guys that know how to run it.
Mhm.
So, we just have vac trucks and straight vacs and semi vacs and
Yeah.
combos and hydrovacs, but yeah, we don't I don't deal with that stuff, right? I'm usually on a combo vac. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know I don't even know, what a 10K versus a 25K would even be, right? All I know is a 25K is a lot bigger than a 10, obviously.
It's a lot bigger. I could see that being more equivalent to like a cement pump or something like that. But yeah, I mean, even my 10K for the stuff I do is too much. Honestly, a 5K or even a 1000K pump would work just fine. So
We have
you
some
really
of
got
the
to be
deepest
paying
wells.
attention.
Yeah, we have some of the deepest wells in North America here, right?
Oh wow.
When Chevron was here 2 years ago, they drilled the record for the deepest well. And
Wow.
then someone in Texas broke their record. And then
Mhm.
I'd say a couple weeks after that, just outside of town here, Chevron broke the record again, right? So
Yes.
like yeah, we've got some really deep wells out here. I don't know if the really like the 25K would be good for really deep wells, right? Like how deep are the wells where you guys are?
Oh, there may be the deepest one I've been on up here is 11,000. They're little wells up here,
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
shallow.
I don't know what kilometers to miles are, but I know there's one that's like 7,000, like 7 kilometers down. So
Mhm.
7,000 meters down and then like 3 or 4 kilometers over, right? So
Okay,
I
yeah.
don't know. I don't know what that is, but yeah, they're pretty deep. They're
Yeah.
pretty deep. Yeah. I don't know what the deep one is here. I know the average one's pretty deep, but
Yeah, I know out in like Pennsylvania, we were doing something like 30,000 and just crazy stuff like that too. So, yeah, but up here they don't really have a lot of laterals. Like I said, it was all done back in the day, and now we're just maintaining them basically. So,
yeah. Yeah. I was in your neck of the woods actually fucking last May. I was in your
okay.
neck of the woods. I drove to Toronto
Hmm.
and we went through the states and we stayed in Auburn Hills. How close are you to Auburn Hills?
I'm about 4 hours north of that.
Okay, okay. So like how close are you? So Detroit, I guess you're 4 hours north of Detroit.
Yep, yep. So I'm about like an out, like just under an hour from the Mackinac Bridge.
Oh shit. I crossed
Yeah.
the Mackinac Bridge when I was a kid a lot.
Yep.
Man,
Yep.
I used to live in Sault Ste. Marie.
Okay, yep, which
Yeah.
we actually used to own my parents owned property on Sugar Island up there.
I have no idea where that is,
It's
but
it's right in between the states and so you were on the Canada side of the
yeah.
Sioux?
Yeah.
Yep, it's right in between both Sault Ste. Marie's right there.
That's pretty badass. So we used to take the Mackinac Bridge. It's like one of the largest bridges in North America.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah, it's like longest bridge maybe. I don't.
Yeah. I think it's the longest suspension bridge or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like I didn't know I was crossing like something epic when I was a kid.
Yeah,
Obviously, my
yeah.
dad was like, "Man, you have no idea what we're on right now, right?"
Yeah.
And as I get older, you learn about the Mackinac Bridge and like architectural like fucking
Mhm.
ingenuity or whatever, and learning about the Mackinac Bridge is pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely cool going over it now. Hauling campers and stuff over it, or really anything over it. As a kid, my dad would just be like, "You guys need to shut the hell up," because the wind would be going back and forth, and so sometimes it wasn't always a fun thing to go over it.
Yeah, yeah, hell yeah. No, that's badass. Do you get a lot of as a woman on a pumper truck, you get a lot of the guys on site like giving you a hard time or like, "Hey, where's the operator?" They assume you're like a swamper or whatever.
There For a while there, it was, but I worked at a company before the one I'm at now and kind of got to know everyone I work with and, built up my reputation there. And then came over here and got on a pump truck. So most of them kind of already knew who I was and knew, I knew how to do the work. But out
Yeah.
in Pennsylvania, just in general, I got, "Oh, you don't belong out here," or "You should be at home in the kitchen taking care of kid." I mean, I got that stuff all the time. So it was nice to kind of break in easy at another company running back truck, get a good reputation, and then switch over. There was a lot more patience with it.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
fucked up, man. That's fucked up. I know when a woman shows up on site, man, like I'm like, man, I gotta bring my A game today because she's bringing hers.
oh yeah,
He
we
comes
we
out with a
always we
chip
have
on her.
something to prove.
Yeah, you come in with a chip on your shoulder. I know you're about to outwork the fuck out of everyone here, and I'm just like, man, like not today, Satan. Like
Right.
I'm 5'4", right? So like I gotta outwork. If a woman's taller than me, it's like shit. If she's shorter than me, I definitely gotta watch out, right? Because man, I don't get the whole the women don't belong thing, right? Like, man, I've met and I work with some women
Mhm.
that they more than pull their own and they got your back,
Oh
so
yeah. Yep. Yep. I mean, I work around service rig hands all the time, and I'm only 5'3", and I'll cuss them up and down and yell at them, and then they don't know, and then they don't mess with me. But I also get up there and help lay down tubing or run tongs. I mean, I've worked a rig floor, so I've also proven myself in that way too. I'm not just gonna sit in the truck when they're out there working all day.
But the tubing's heavy, man. You know, as
Yeah.
a guy on the vac truck, I was chatting with my buddy. I see him all the time, right? When I'm out there doing the
Mhm.
service and shit like that and sucking shit up and whatnot. And one day he's like, "Man, you want to give me a hand with this?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, let's go. How about could this be you're doing it, right?" And like, you know, yeah, it's fucking heavy, man. I was
Yes,
like,
yeah.
it's like, you know what? Maybe this ain't for me, you know, like. And then I mean, I help him
Yeah.
out anyways. I do it all, but you know, I made a video about it one time with that. It was a cut template where
Yeah.
that skinny guy was like, "You want to mess with this? You want a piece of me?" Right? I'm like, when the vac hand is asked to come help out, no, you know, one of the rig hands or whatever,
Mhm.
and I lift that one pipe, and afterwards I lift one, and I'm like, "Yeah, yeah,
Oh
right."
yeah.
Man, right? And it's like, nah, dude, do that all fucking day. Because after that
You,
first one, I
yeah.
went and sat for a couple hours. I'm like, you know, leave me alone.
Right. When you got to lay down rows on rows of that stuff, it gets tiring. There's definitely a technique to it, but you got to do it for a while to get that down.
For sure, for sure. I was just before Christmas. I was helping. We were doing a winterization of a frac. Right, they were shutting
Mhm.
down for Christmas. And they're like, let's do a partial winterization when we come back. You know, we'll fire up. And we were cleaning out their P tanks and the 400s and all that shit on site. And fucking Green Hand out there, right? Brand new guy. He's just fucking talking to me and asking me these questions. And I'm like, I haven't been asked these kinds of questions in a long time, right? I'm like, is this
Mhm.
guy retarded or something, right? And like, no, he's new, right?
Yeah.
Like he
Yeah.
legit didn't know a lot of shit, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, fuck, all right, cool. You know, like I've been in the past for 16 years. You know, I remember when I was that guy asking all the
Mhm.
questions, right? And you know, now anyway, he was lifting this shit up and he was like giving her, right? And I'm like, fuck, good for you, bud. You know, like
Right.
as much as like I don't think I would want to be lifting those pipes around, he probably wouldn't want my job either, sticking his head in the
Yeah.
tank and spraying water in -30 and you know,
Yeah.
like we're just masters of our own domain, right?
Right. Right. No, I definitely don't want your job. I'm not about getting in tanks and doing all that stuff. No, thank you.
Yeah, fuck that. I stuck my that job. What was it? Was it that job? Yeah, I think I talked about it maybe once on the podcast before Christmas there. Fucking I those LELs, they'll fuck you up,
Mhm.
right? Like you get baked, right?
Yeah.
And like I was in the tank, and this is the closest I think I've ever come into going down in a tank, right? Like I was in there, we tested the atmosphere, it was good. And
Mhm.
then we stuck the steam in there for a while when I went to the other one. And when I came back, I didn't take into account that the steam had melted everything off the walls and exposed shit. I
Yep.
jump in, I'm fucking spraying shit down. I'm most of the way done cleaning this thing. And my earplugs start fucking talking to me, man. Like they tripped me out. Like I
Oh,
was
no.
waked. I was tripping. I was on a trip. And I kept going to the door, stick my head. I'm like, ugh. I come back and I'd be like, I start hearing ringing, right? I'm like, okay, you know, like I gotta get out. So I get out. Buddy's like, what are you doing? I'm like, stick your monitor in there for me for a second.
Mhm.
Pull it out. It's like 16% LELs, and it was not done counting yet. I pull it back out. And then fucking after half an hour, I jump back in, right? I'm like, oh, this is a lot better, right?
Oh, no.
And I didn't put the earplugs back in because they tripped me out.
That is crazy.
Yeah, I got back in there. I finished most of it before I left. I was just hallucinating in the tank. I was like, what the fuck? Right?
Jeez.
Yeah, man. And like yeah, that was a wild time, man. And the consultant comes over, he's like, how was that for you? And he's like, I saw you get out. I saw your eyes. I saw the look on your face. Right? He's like, I'm standing right there. You didn't see me? I'm like, no, I didn't. And he's like, yeah, dude, you were fucked up. Like,
That's insane.
yeah, yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, I'm not about that. They tried getting me to get my certification to go in tanks because I'm small. And I'm like, no
Yep.
thanks. Nope. I'm not gonna do
Hey,
it.
5'4", man. I fit perfectly in there, right?
Right, right. No, I'm not doing it. Someone else can clean out my truck tank. I don't want to.
I was having this conversation with one of my coworkers last night, actually, about the cowboy shit we used to do when we were younger, right? We're
Mhm.
on site, we're in our 20s, we're invincible, right? Like, hey, you know what?
Mhm.
Like, fucking, as long as I'm safe in my own mind, right? I'm gonna do this. And he was telling his stories, and then I told him about the time I worked on a gravel crusher, and I jumped in the cone, and there was this much space, my hard hat wouldn't fit in there. I had to take it off, crawl down the belt, and then I had to hold on, and it was a 12-hour job once a week. We had to get in there and clean out the cone and whatnot. And but there was so little space, I had to like take a shovel or a shovelful or two, then crawl back out, let them run the belt, and that took 12 hours. But the one time I figured it out, I'm like, okay, there's a hack. I'm 21 years old, right? Fucking, I'm not smart at all. Buddy was standing above, and I found a little ledge that I could sit on, right? So I got as much as I could off that wall, and then I'm like, hey, run it, right? So I held on, and if I fell, it was straight down, 90-degree up, and then fucking my legs would break, my back would be broken, and I would
Oh
be
my
dead.
God.
I wouldn't feel a thing, right? There would be no feeling that. And yeah, so it took it from like a 12-hour thing to like an 8-hour thing. I saved those guys 4 hours every week doing this, right? And for what? You know what I mean? Like, I was
Yeah.
getting paid by the hour. I was just a 20-year-old cowboy. You know what I mean? Like, it just fucking, let's go, right? Trying
Right.
to be the hero. And the one time my hand slipped a little bit, and I'm like, ooh, and I put my foot against the wall, and I sat there, and then I'm like, hey, shut that fucking thing off, right? He shuts it
Right.
off. I get repositioned, like, hey, turn it on, go, right? I did that a few times, and yeah, man, it was, yeah, thinking about all the stupid shit we do when we're younger, right?
It's definitely not worth it looking back now, I'm sure.
No, no,
So
not
heck
at all.
no.
How old are you?
20, I'm 26, going to be 27 here soon.
Oh man, when's your birthday?
February 19th.
Mine's February 4th.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
there you go.
we'll be 37 in February on February 4th.
Oh, hell yeah.
You say you're 36, turn 37?
No, 26
Oh,
turning
oh,
27.
right. No, no,
Yeah.
don't. Yeah. So we're 10 years apart. Nice.
Yep.
Nice. That's crazy. Yeah, man. I remember when I was that dumb shit really stopped for me when I started having kids, right? It was just like, man, like I gotta cut that shit out, like, yeah. And then, you start getting hurt a little bit. I
Mhm.
cut open a bundle of pipe one time and I wasn't wearing my safety glasses, and the metal banding that was on it snapped back and hit me in the eye, detached my retina. I was off for 6 months.
Oh my
Fucking
God.
yeah, and this past, like, I guess in 2024, I broke my ankle at work and was off for 6 months. So it was, or 5 months anyway. Made my broken ankle my entire personality on the internet for 5 months. So that was cool.
I did the same exact thing.
Yeah.
It was in September of 24. Yeah. And it was the dumbest way I did it too. So stupid. I went up, stepped up in my truck to grab another gear to be able to run a higher rate. And I don't know, I guess I was trying to get out really quick, and I stepped down and I was in sand and just completely rolled my ankle under and broke like all five ligaments. I now have a plate, two screws in my ankle. Like, I just totally destroyed it, all from stepping down into sand.
Shit.
Yeah, and I was off for 7 months.
It's brutal. So mine happened in 2025. Sorry, at the beginning of 2025, February 21st.
Okay.
So yeah, I was off for till July 4th. I think I was off for. But mine happened. I had a steam line pretty much blow up in my face.
Oh, jeez.
Right. And I jumped out of the way. Right. And this thing was pressured up and like whoosh, going.
Mhm.
When I jumped out, there was ice, and I landed, and my
Oh,
foot completely inverted,
yep.
and the bone that connects my foot to my leg dislocated, and it
Oof.
was -30, so I didn't feel anything. And I got up to get away because the line followed me out. And when I got up, I went back down because nothing there to support it, and I broke the
Mhm.
fibula. And then at some point in there, I cracked the ankle ball almost in half.
Mhm. Oh
And
my
then,
God.
so all in all, there was like, two broken bones, two dislocated bones, a bunch of torn ligaments or broke or
Mhm.
damaged ligaments and whatnot. And yeah, I didn't feel a fucking thing. It was
Okay.
-30. I had to crawl 30 feet to get out of the way of that fucking line that was pressured up, and then I crawled back to get my phone. But didn't feel a thing, man. The most painful part about it was when I started physio and walking again. I
Yep.
didn't have surgery either. I didn't need surgery. I missed out on surgery. There's no hardware in my foot or anything.
Yeah. the crazy part, like with the physical therapy for me, they thought it was just like a bad sprain or something like that. So I did physical therapy like that for 3 months too. And
Yeah.
then they noticed it wasn't getting better and they did I think it's a CAP scan or MRI or whatever it is. Then they're like, oh crap, you broke every ligament in there and you do have a fracture and this and that. It's like, oh, I've been telling you, it's messed up. So
Damn.
yeah,
Damn, that sucks.
yeah,
Man,
it's not fun.
a lot of good came out of it though. I had 6 months off, 5 months off, whatever it was. A lot of good came out of it. I don't know if you listened to that episode of the podcast or not, but I had a lot of downtime with my family that I
Hmm.
otherwise never got to have before.
Hmm.
And I got to take part in my oldest daughter's parent teacher council, right? I got to,
Oh, hell
meet
yeah.
what's happening there. My youngest daughter, she graduated from preschool, and I got to go attend that and meet her
Mhm.
friends. And there was a lot of healing. Mentally, I was destroyed. Mentally, shit that happened like 30 years ago was creeping up on me, and like I didn't know how to
Mhm.
deal with it. Thought I was just a miserable prick all the time, right?
Yep.
And like I was taking it out on my family. Turns out I have borderline personality disorder, and the podcast was sponsored by BetterHelp for a large chunk of last year, and I got therapy out of it, and learned a lot about that, how to control that shit, and like journaling and fucking just communication in general, which
Yeah.
is I told my wife this the other day. I'm like, who knew that the answer to most of my problems was just talking to you about it?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
That inner dialogue in my head is no longer on on like repeat or playing on a loop for 24/7 anymore, right? It's no
Mhm.
longer you're not good enough, you're not a good person, you're a shitty dad, you're a shitty husband, yada yada yada. All you do is work, blah 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 blah. All I gotta do is talk about it and journal and fucking it's not that's as simple as that. It was
Yeah.
as simple as that. What? It was nuts, man. It was
Mhm.
absolutely nuts the things that 2025 did for me and my family and me as a person, as an individual. So
Yeah. No, see, and I really struggled because really all I've ever done is just work nonstop. So when I was sitting at home, I almost felt guilty sitting at home with, having an injury like that. Like, oh, I just want to be out there. And yeah, I definitely got some well needed time, with my daughter and just to, be at home more and get the house cleaned up, which, I work all the time. So I don't have much time to do that. Just kind of get my life organized. But
yeah.
it just got to a point I was going insane. Like I needed to go back to work. And same as you, I knew I had ADHD, but I finally got it diagnosed because I was going so stir crazy. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy how that stuff will manifest, when people like us working in the trades, we get so much downtime and it can wreck you, but hopefully you can find a way to turn it into something that is good and realize, that stuff you haven't been able to.
100%. And that's I think like part of the first message you sent me was like, "Hey, I found your podcast," right? And like,
Mhm.
talking about mental health and stuff like that. And I went through my own stuff and whatnot. And yeah, like, that was a big part of like, oh fuck yeah, like um knowing that okay, so knowing okay, you see this number that this many people downloaded and listened to your podcast, right?
Mhm.
But, like, to actually put a face to one of those numbers and,
Mhm.
like, someone that's, in an industry similar to yours and, going through similar stuff and like that, and then, being more than willing to come on my podcast and become a part of that
Yeah.
story and this journey, that's cool. I think that's freaking awesome, you know?
No, I definitely appreciate the opportunity. I mean, I've never got to do anything like this before, so it's definitely cool.
This is your first time ever doing a podcast?
Yeah, yeah.
Fucking crushing it, so many people come on for the first time and they're really shy and reserved and shit, and, like, they don't know how to keep up a flow of conversation, and, like, you're making it really easy for me, so
Well, it works since we, kind of work in the same industry doing kind of the same thing. So,
hell yeah,
yeah.
hell yeah. What, do you plan on, staying, operating pumper truck, or do you have a trajectory or a plan you wanna follow?
I definitely want to. I don't want to be a truck driver for much longer. No. Where I'm at now, the next step would be hot oiler, and then hopefully after that, try and move into a supervisor position. Because
Hell yeah.
I don't want to be in a truck forever.
I'm 37, just about here. And I
Right.
had an opportunity to get out of this 3 years ago, I guess, when another company, another vac company, a guy who has an incredible story actually of how he got, to where he is, and how he started off as a rig hand, saved up money for 2 years to buy a truck that he couldn't even
Mhm.
drive, so he had to hire a driver and be his swamper until he learned.
Just
He offered me a social media position within his company. He's like, just come and make videos for us, man. Like, we'll
yeah,
give you this much money per year. And I was afraid, right? I was scared. And I walked away from that, and I kick myself every day. The older that I get now, like 3 years is not a long time, but like in the
right.
last 3 years, my life has evolved at such a rapid pace,
Mhm.
and that is one part of the evolution that maybe I wish I would have taken a little bit or tried.
Right.
There was definitely a thing there with leaving where I currently work, right? Where I was scared to leave and not
Mhm.
know if I could make it somewhere else. And then last year I did leave and go somewhere else, and then I broke my ankle. They shit on me. They used my ankle like injury against me and threw me away. So now I'm back here. But the fact that I proved to myself last year that I can make it outside of here and go other places and be just fine.
Yeah.
I kicked myself for that first opportunity, right? And
Yeah.
now there's another opportunity where buddy's like he works for Badger, Badger?
Yep.
He works for Badger, and he's looking for a supervisor to, I have to look into that more a little bit. We'll have to talk a little bit more, see if I'm ready for that next step of that kind of step. That's
Mhm.
different than the social media thing, but that's a different kind of step. And I think I could be pretty confident doing it. And the answer is always no if you don't ask anyways, but I'll never know if I don't even take that step if I can do it, right? What's the worst that happens? I end up back here.
Right.
Mm,
I
yeah.
mean, I definitely think the one thing that holds us back in this industry is like we get too comfortable doing certain jobs, and then that's when it gets dangerous, or that's when you just stay, in a position as a hand or something like that, and then you don't move up. Like if you're comfortable just being in that job, then you're probably not going to make it doing anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. We are our own worst enemy. We're our own
Yeah.
roadblocks, right? Where,
Uh-huh.
it's a mental thing. A hundred
Mhm.
percent it is. Where I was gonna go with that, where it originally started was like, so you kind of mentally took a little bit of a nosedive, or yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it was just I'm not meant to sit at home at all. So just sitting like I couldn't do anything. I couldn't go anywhere. So I just had to be laid up on the couch, and I have to stay doing something or my mind will just wander to, like you've said, stuff years ago or stuff currently, and it was insane just sitting at home. I can't handle that.
Yeah, it definitely could have been worse for sure. It would have been bad if, I didn't have anything, I don't think.
Mhm.
Or, was kind of not okay in sitting there if I didn't have anything to work on. I had a lot to work on within
Right.
myself, and a lot of shit that I didn't even know was wrong, right? Like my parents split
Mhm.
when I was 6. 30 years later, I'm feeling that, right?
Right.
Like my mom moved 8 hours away, and I don't have memories of Christmas with my mom ever. I don't have memories of cuddling up on the couch with my mom, having like little, I do remember my mom moving 8 hours away, sorry, and us writing letters to each other through the mail. We'd send each other like, "I love you, I miss you," yada yada. I remember
Mhm.
that shit, right? But like, especially this past year when I was there visiting, and we did like
Mhm.
70 hours worth of driving and shit like that. It really hit me. I sat across from her on Mother's Day for the first time in a long time and watched my
Wow.
kids enjoy her and shit like that. But it really kind of started pissing me off a little bit that like my dad had me and my mom had my 2 sisters, and why wasn't more of an effort made for us to all see each other? Like
Yeah.
30 years later, my dad is saying that my mom's the one he let get away, right?
Oh, geez.
Right. But if that's the
Wow.
case, then why wasn't more of an effort made? You know what I mean? My
Yeah.
dad didn't have his shit together, and my dad still doesn't have his shit together, right? But like, I don't know. I don't know if that's part of his mental health coming back too, right? It could be. You never know, right? But yeah, there's a lot of shit there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that had to have been hard, not only being away from your mom, but you're away from your siblings too, you said?
Yeah, I tried to drown the oldest of my sisters when we were like young. My mom, and my dad
Oh,
let
no.
me babysit my. So get this, I was 5 years old. My sister was fresh out the womb,
Oh
right? My
no.
other sister was like maybe turning just 1, right? So like
Wow.
my parents were very busy, right? So like yeah, so my dad and my mom went on a snow machine ride, right? For like
Mhm.
2 hours. They left their 5-year-old to babysit their less than 1-year-old and their 1-year-old.
Oh
They're
hell no.
like newborn, right? Thinking back to that, man, that's wild. Like
That
how
is wild.
shit hit the ceiling or hit the fan this day and age if people found that out, right? My mom and my dad get into a snowmobile accident. My mom almost dies, right?
Oh
Like she dies
no.
under a car. My mom comes back, she got a bruise that went from her head to her toe, right? And then my dad put me in the bath with my sister. We were young. It was harmless shit, right?
Yeah.
But she puts me in the bath with her alone and then she's annoying the fuck out of me. He walks away, and he comes back, and I've got her head under the water, right? I'm just trying to see if this bitch can fucking breathe, Like, are you a fish, And my dad loses his shit on me. I remember this. I remember that part, right? But like, yeah, man, like yeah, my dad had me, my mom had my sisters, and there was no effort made, right? Like maybe once a year, it'd be
Right.
like, and then yeah, my dad got with another woman almost immediately. There was no like us time, a
Mhm.
boy loses his mom and, needs that one-on-one time with his dad,
Right.
needs him, and then he just abandons him for another woman and immediately. But there's a pattern there because when my stepmom and my dad split, my sister needed her dad more than anything because my dad had
Mhm.
a kid with this woman. And then he immediately goes out and finds another woman, right? My wife essentially and I took care of my younger sister while my dad went out doing whatever he was doing, right? It was
Jeez.
crazy. And that my wife and I just talked about that the other day. And like that, I just realized, like, oh shit, like my younger sister, my baby sister is essentially mine and my wife's first kid.
Right, yeah. I mean, yeah, I can only imagine that. I've never been in that situation, but I definitely feel for people who've had to do that stuff. I mean, that's terrible.
Ah,
But I'm sure it's helped you now to know what you don't want to do, for you and your kids.
well, I'm seeking help for my mental health stuff and learning about myself and showing up for my kids in ways that
Yep,
my parents didn't show for me, right? My
yep,
youngest daughter is now the age that I was when my parents split,
okay.
right? And when I look at her, I'm like, she's so aware. She's
Yeah,
so smart. She knows what's going on all
oh,
the time.
definitely.
Was I
Yep.
like that when I was 6? Did I know what was happening, around me? And, like, I look at how much, like, our divorce or separation would
Mhm.
crush that little girl, right?
Yep, yep,
And, like, I just think back, man, like, like, fuck, man, like, where, where was, my help or whatever, or, like, not everyone should stay together if it's not meant to be, but like, you know what I mean? Like, my wife and I, we've been together 20 years now, and if fucking, we have our issues, man, I gotta stay and work out those issues for my
yeah,
kids, right? Like
yeah.
if not for the relationship, for the kids.
Yeah, yep. And I went through a divorce and it
Yeah.
just ultimately that was just we both worked in the oil field, we weren't around each other. Then we came home, ended up working at the same company and just kind of realized like, we grew apart. And that's simply what happened there. But
I was
it,
with my
it
wife once too. I wanted this fucking just,
it's definitely devastating though, even though it wasn't really anything toxic that happened. Knowing my daughter has to grow up not knowing her mom and dad together because we split up before she was a year.
yeah.
But the relationship I'm in now, he has 2 kids and all of our kids love each other. Like it's healthy, it's better than the alternative of staying with someone who, we just it wasn't gonna work. So
Hell yeah. I know, and I understand that too, right? I
yes.
get
Yep.
that too. My parents, and when I said, where was the thought behind that? I remember my parents arguing and fighting. I remember my mom hiding in a closet, right? I
Yeah.
was fucking 5 and 6, right? I remember my mom hiding in a closet. I remember her crying. I remember my dad as an alcoholic,
Mhm.
raising his voice and screaming and yelling and right. Um, but there were ways to fix that, right?
Yeah.
And they're boomers, so they have mental health issues, but getting help for them, seeking out help for them
Yeah.
just wasn't in the cards. There was no way that was going to happen. That was seen as weak. That was seen as
Mhm.
like, oh, way, if the neighbors know I'm going to see a therapist, they're gonna like, yeah, shit on me, right?
Right.
Man, now if you don't go see a therapist, you're a fucking problem, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Which I mean, it's available, it's there, but yeah, that the whole prideful thing that they have that, oh, getting my mental health taken care of is just, such a bad thing. It's insane. I mean,
yeah,
I had a good household growing up, but it was very no emotion, I would say. But as we got older and me and my sisters became more aware and like, hey, this isn't right, we kind of opened up and made them realize too. But
yeah,
yeah, I wish my parents had a little bit more of that emotion, but like I said before, now I know that's something that I'm not going to do to my daughter.
yeah,
I'm going to
yeah.
show her all that.
My
So,
wife and I, we fight and argue, right? But like, we don't raise our voices around the kids, and if we
right.
do, my kids see me apologize. If I'm wrong, my kids
Hmm.
see me apologize. My wife's wrong, my kids see her apologize, right? It's
Hmm.
like, oh, you know what? Things got a little out of hand. I'm sorry that I yelled at you. I'm
Right.
sorry I raised my voice. Or like, hey, you know what? Like, hey, I'm wrong and I'm sorry, right? And my kid, I make sure my kids see that shit, right? Because I
Hmm.
want them to, look at our relationship and go out and find a man or whatever they're into, a dog, a cat, whatever. Fucking, I want them to see a relationship that they deserve, not how to settle for one, right? And
Yeah.
like that's important. That's very important. And like I feel like when I was going through my shit, my kids in my brain, my kids would ask me if I want to go outside and play or ask me a question, and I would snap, right? I'd be
Yeah.
like, no, right? Like, and looking back at that, I'm like, who the fuck is that guy, right? Like,
Yeah.
why would I do that? Now my kids ask me a question or whatever, and like it's a teaching moment, right? It's a teaching
Hmm.
moment. My 5-year-old daughter said, or my 6-year-old daughter said, my dad's not an asshole anymore. What are all fucking words, man? And I'm like, I was never trying to be an asshole. Sorry, daddy was grumpy. Sorry that, you know,
Right.
I had unresolved issues that, they weren't my fault, but they are my
Hmm.
responsibility to deal with, right? And I'm sorry that, it took me that long to figure that out, right? And yeah, man, I taught my daughter this year how to throw a frisbee. She found it at the park. She brought it home and she's like whipping it around at high speeds and it's not going anywhere. I'm like, nah, bring it over here. Right? Light, nice and light. Just
Yeah.
flick of the wrist, nice and light. She's throwing frisbees around the yard and with accuracy and shit. And she's teaching my younger daughter how to throw the frisbee now. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I did that, right? Like I taught her, she taught her. Now we're outside having fun with that, right? And
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that brings a tear to my eye because
Hmm.
like my dad, man, just a grumpy asshole, right? And I was here, I
Yeah.
am Mr. Grumpy Assholes Junior, right? So
No, I mean, yeah, it's the biggest thing is learning from the mistakes they did and, changing it completely. But I mean, luckily young kids are very forgiving. And if
yeah,
you turn that around, as soon as possible, then they're probably not even gonna really remember it. It's not even really gonna be there at some point. So
yeah, hopefully. Well, they remember the one time I kicked a garbage can in the opposite direction of them. I was frustrated with the garbage can. I'm like, what the fuck? And I kicked it in the opposite direction. And they're like, hey, remember that time you threw a garbage can at us? I'm like, you mean in the opposite
the
direction of where
opposite
you were
way.
standing? Like, yeah. And they're like, no, it was at us for sure. And I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? And that was like 3 years ago.
Oh
It's like,
no.
man, they bring it up because they know that like I'm embarrassed by it, and they bring it up.
Right.
They know like I kind of chuckle about it, but like
Yeah.
I also my youngest daughter, I swear she likes watching me struggle. Right? She loves it. She lives for the struggle. She's like, I can tell this bothers this guy, right?
They're
Like,
so evil sometimes. I
oh yeah.
swear to
Like,
God.
how old's your daughter?
She is 3.
Oh man. Oh
Mhm.
man. Man, 3-year-old, three, like they're fun at 3. They're just getting fun at 3, right? They're
She's
just
feisty already. I'm definitely getting a dose of my own medicine with this one.
oh yeah.
Oh
Like
my God.
my daughter is 6 and like she's really intelligent for a 6-year-old, right? Like
Mhm.
super smart. It's the YouTube probably. But like um I don't even want to get into the questions she's asked me, but I'm like, there's no way a 6-year-old knows this. But like, so she was talking to me when she's having a conversation with you. She's 6 years old. You feel like you're talking to a 20-year-old, right? Just the shit she knows and can like communicate with you, and the context of words, right? Like
Mhm.
she knows how to use them. And then you're just like, all right. And then when she does something that pisses you off, you go to get mad at her like she's a teenager, and then she throws a fit like she's 6.
Like she's
And
six,
you're like,
yeah.
"Oh, fuck, I gotta remember this kid's only in kindergarten," right? Like,
Yeah.
fuck, man. Like, you know, she'll oh, fuck, she's evil. I fucking
Yeah.
love her, though. I love her. She's funny. I don't ever give her shit for anything. I make my wife do that. Like,
Uh,
yeah. Yeah. I'm like,
yeah.
"No, no, I can't."
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Mine's kind of a dick, so I'm like, just she's hilarious. It's funny.
I had to put soap in her mouth over Christmas. Not for swearing.
Oh,
Swear whatever say whatever you want. She knows not to say it at school. And
right.
I swear she plays up her angel fucking thing around certain people. I don't care about the swearing. Swear around me. It's funny. We'll have a conversation that way. You know
Yeah.
when not to use it. I don't have to have that conversation with her. Um, it's the hitting. The hitting, man. She
Mhm.
hits to hurt. Like
Oh yeah.
if you don't react like you're in pain the first time, she's coming back for more and
Oh
harder.
my
Right? I
gosh.
swear. Yeah. So her poor sisters gets the brunt of it, right? So while I was home over Christmas, like I'm like, go get the soap. Right? And she's like, oh, okay, what's the soap for? She brings me the soap, and I'm like, I made my wife do it again. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't. Like, I felt so bad. I'm like, this hurts me more than it hurts you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And then she puked everywhere. She puked, like just went on a puke. I'm like, this wasn't worth it. Right? Like,
No, now you have to clean that up.
yeah, the mess now you gotta clean up. This ain't worth it. Fuck. It was
Oh
almost I should just
no.
let you keep going what you were doing. Right? Like,
Oh my
no, but it sent a
goodness.
message. She stopped hitting. She's afraid to hit people right now. So she's got it
Yeah.
twice now in the last couple weeks. So
Yeah.
she's afraid to hit.
They're so violent. Even like I have my 3-year-old, my boyfriend has a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, so we're in the middle of it.
Oh my.
And the two 3-year-olds just go at it all the time. Like it's nonstop. And it's like quit hitting each other. Like it hurts both of you guys. Just stop.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's insane.
I swear one of them's gonna die.
Yeah.
One of them's gonna fatally hurt the other one.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
it's not gonna be my oldest. My oldest doesn't give up. My oldest is like, we're all afraid of the young one. All of us.
Yeah.
Every single one of us, we're afraid of her. And she's afraid to hit right now, though, right? She went to go hit my other daughter the other night while I was on FaceTime. And then she kind of looked, and then she's like, you know what? I'm sorry. You know, I'm sorry, right? And then fuck. I'm like, you need to get the soap. And she's like, no, I didn't hit her. I came close, but I didn't do it. And I was like, okay. All right. Yeah.
Now it's gonna be a game.
Fucking kids, man. What I guess what's the word? What basin or what is the formation that you guys drill in Michigan?
So we have the Antrim Shale, which is a much shallower, mostly oil producing. Then we have a PVC shale, and then I think there's one of the ones in PA that come up, kind of into Michigan too, kind of more southern Michigan. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean the Antrim is the biggest one we work out of for sure.
Like you said, not many people know that there's oil and gas in
Mhm.
Michigan, right? And it makes sense because Sarnia borders Michigan, and Sarnia, like
Mhm.
Ontario, was the first oil and gas field in Canada, right?
Yeah.
And there's Petrolia and
Mhm.
whatnot. And so it makes sense that there's some it
Yeah.
runs south, right? So it just makes sense. I'm like, yeah, there's got to be oil in Michigan too. It
Yeah.
borders fucking Sarnia borders Michigan, so.
Yeah, there's a lot of it here. We don't do anything in the Upper Peninsula, but mostly Lower Michigan. We have a lot, and a lot of it is consolidated to like northern Lower Michigan, so like more tip of the mid area. So
Nice.
that's I live right in the middle of it, so it's nonstop.
The back end in North Dakota, it runs
Mhm.
into Canada, right? So the back end is in part in Saskatchewan too, right?
Mhm.
I didn't know that for the longest time.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. I
Yeah,
thought that was mostly North Dakota area.
yeah, it runs right into Saskatchewan. And then, the oil sands in Fort McMurray, right?
Mhm.
You know about the oil sands? So the oil sands in Fort McMurray, um, a large chunk of it, right? Is in Fort McMurray, but the biggest part of the oil sands is actually on the other side of the border in Saskatchewan too. Like it's untouched. They don't
Oh
they
wow.
they don't they haven't done anything with it. It's not developed. There's no infrastructure there. Yeah, most of the oil sands actually, like if you look at the map of it, is in Saskatchewan, the
Hmm.
bulk of it, right? So yeah, we only hear 1/3 of Canada's oil comes out of Fort McMurray every day, right? So, but if they were to develop that part of Saskatchewan, that would
Yeah.
probably change the whole conversation, right?
Yeah.
So
It'd
yeah,
probably be like another boom. I mean, are you guys in a boom up there per se, or just steady work?
I think I think we're coming into one
Oh,
ish.
good deal.
Right? So from 20 the end of 2014 to 2015, nasty crash, right? Like she
Mhm.
was going good and then she crashed hard, layoffs, everything across the board. It started getting good again, but then,
Mhm.
COVID happened, right?
Yep.
Like things were picking up, just COVID, boom,
Yep.
crashes it like shit, right? And then we come out of that. It's been good the last 2 years, 3 years, I guess. It's been
Yeah.
pretty steady, but there are parts of Alberta where I am, like where I work, always busy. Grand Prairie seems to always be busy. There's always shit happening, right? And
Mhm.
why I didn't jump into wireline is because right around that time it started to crash, right? And I'm like, well, last one in, first one out. So
Mhm.
what what's something that even in a crash keeps busy? The vac truck, right? Everything, there's spills, things need to be, maintained, suck this out, suck that out, clean that up. So I come to where, I get the most bang for my buck, right?
Yep.
So uh yeah, but if things keep, maybe going, hopefully we get a little bit. They're building the Pathways Alliance right now. I don't know if you've heard of the Pathways Alliance.
No, I haven't.
All the big companies are building like a carbon capture pipeline.
Oh, wow.
And they found that the pipeline actually works. The hydrocarbons,
Mhm.
they're using all that, and they're gonna. I don't know what they plan on doing with it, honestly. But a big project in Fort McMurray got greenlit. So yeah, hopefully this means we're booming. But the whole Venezuela thing happens, and
Yeah.
we don't know where that puts us, right? Because
Let's
America's
see.
our biggest customer, right? So
Yep.
now having said that, a lot of people are losing their shit. Well, they've got the most amount of oil in the world, right?
Mhm.
Venezuela. Yeah, no. Before Maduro took over, they actually didn't have that much oil, right? The numbers were very low. Now he reported that, oh, we got this much, but that was never factually proven. He reported it, and they took his word for it. They're like, yeah, all right.
Oh.
So we'll see how that plays out, right? I don't know. Do you follow Mr. Global on TikTok and Facebook and stuff?
I do not, but I'll have to check that out. I mean, yeah, I've definitely been kind of trying to follow, what's been going on with that as I can, but haven't really had much time to. So,
What's it been like for you in Michigan since the whole drill baby drill thing?
I mean, it's been steady. We've drilled maybe 3 virgin holes up here that I know of. I mean, it's pretty slow. But we'll go in and lateral wells and stuff like that, but it's not really a new drill field around here. It costs too much money, and Michigan, a lot of people don't really like the oil field around here because of the Great Lakes and all that. So we definitely get a lot of pushback there for it.
Yeah, a lot of the tree huggers and
Yeah.
environmentalists and shit. Yeah, the same with why Ontario above you guys has the fuck. What is that? The belt there. They have the shit. I can't remember what the belt is in Ontario, but if Ontario were to open up the belt, um, they have more gas, iron ore,
Mhm.
resources, minerals, everything in northern. Is it northern? I don't. Even, it might be northern Ontario. The Ring of Fire. It's called the Ring of Fire in Ontario. If they were to open that up, they would be the economic engine of fucking North America, most likely, right? They
Yeah.
Ontario alone, right? It would make Alberta look tiny, right?
Wow.
But they won't do it because it's the Ring of Fire. There's lots of trees. There's lots of lakes. There's an environmental impact there, right? So
Great.
they won't do it. And the premier, he said when he first got up into power, he said that yeah, he's like, I'll jump on a dozer tomorrow if I have to. Let's go. Let's open this up. and it's been 10 years. Where is he at?
Right, right. I mean, people got to realize it's either we do it the safest way possible, or these other countries are doing it in a terrible way that could affect the environment for everyone at some point. Like we do it the safest, cleanest way possible. Not to say there won't be problems, but I mean, these people are still driving cars and heating their houses and still doing all this. So if you don't support it, then don't use it at all. It's kind of
Amen
what
to
I
that.
put.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. And like, do you want to import oil from a country that beheads people if
Right.
oh, I spilled something on the ground, or I stole something, and like, oh, or I married the same gender, I married another man, or I did this, or I exposed some skin that I wasn't supposed to, and they chop their fingers off, right?
Right.
Like shit like that. And I mean, like, whatever. I don't know if I'm educated enough on the situation to even comment on it, but I mean, like, that's what they say anyway,
Mhm.
right? And who knows what actually happens, but like, enough people say it, where there's smoke there's fire.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you want to put more money into people's pockets who aren't, just evil people, then I guess go ahead, but they're going to learn it's not going to be good for them at some point.
Yeah, so you guys have drilled like 3 virgin holes. We're in the middle of, fuck, I don't know where we're standing with that. I know 3 years ago the plan was to come into Fox Creek here and punch 2,500 new holes into the ground within a certain period of time.
Oh, man.
And I'm on a pad right now where they're drilling 7 wells, and then there was a 20 well pad down the way there, and then they're fresh, they're new holes, right? And I don't
Yeah.
know how many they've drilled in the 3 years, but it's got to be a lot. There's 4 or 5 rigs punching holes everywhere around here within a half hour, 45 minutes. So
Jeez. Yeah, that's crazy. Like, I mean, we have just our locations are just, one oil well or one gas well. Like we don't have any multi-well pads really up here. But, out in Pennsylvania, I was around that. I definitely miss the more cleaner, newer, nicer locations to work on than what I got to deal with.
I was on a cement job the other night, right? And I don't you guys do cement job?
Yep.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, you do.
Yep.
Work over rigs and shit like that. Yeah, I was on a cement job the other night, and it was a lateral. They lost everything. They
Oh,
lost
yeah.
fucking all their fluid and shit like that. Talking to
Yep.
the consultant in the morning about it. We were there 15 hours, and they released us like, hey, you guys just leave,
Yep.
right? $1.5 million, and it cost them that night. They lost 140 cubes of invert downhole
Mm.
somewhere, wherever it went, they don't know.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're just waiting here to hear. That's why I was like, should we do this podcast now? We're waiting to hear if we're gonna be back out there tonight or not. But yeah, fuck, man, that pad, one of the biggest pads. They spared no expense building that pad. It is big.
Mhm.
For we see a lot of pads around here that they're pretty big, and but once you bring all the frac crew in and everything that comes with that, the pad gets really small really
Real
quickly.
quick. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Really small.
this one, man, like, I'm like, shit, dude, you could have the frac in here right now while you guys are drilling. Shit. Yeah,
Jeez. See,
yeah.
and for us, we'll go around plugging wells that are no longer, producing or they just want to get rid of. We're taking dozers to haul our trucks up there and just, just tree branches scraping the trucks, or even some of them now, they're just tiny 2 tracks going back into someone's property. And like we got to worry about rifle season here. We shut down and all that stuff because we don't want to get shot. I mean, it's a very old school backwoods kind of oil field here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, you're not
So,
allowed to hunt within a certain distance of a pad,
yep.
and you can't shoot towards that pad. But there's
Mhm.
enough pads. Like, I'm shooting away from this one. I don't know how that works, because there's another one over here or over here.
Right.
I don't know what that is. What the rules around that would be, but whatever.
Yeah. Yep. It's crazy.
How did you get started in content? Like, why did you go from like, hey, I'm Haley, I'm pumper operator, yada yada yada, boom, let's start a TikTok page. What started that journey?
Well, really, when I was off for my ankle is kind of when I wanted to get into TikTok shop. So I really wasn't doing a whole lot of work content at that time, just, stupid little filler videos just to try and get followers and stuff. And then when I got back to work, I started doing the work content and that really took off. Mostly, supporting like women in trades and doing all that stuff is really where I took off with it. So it started while I was off work, really.
You're in Michigan. Do you listen to Hunter's podcast?
Yeah, yep.
4%, yeah. I
Yep. I
fucking love
have
Hunter.
some of her hoodies and stickers and all that stuff. Yep.
I love Hunter. She's on mat leave right now. I think she stopped
Yeah.
working not long ago. Like she was gonna work for as long as she could. I think she's
Yep.
done now. I haven't heard any of her new podcasts. I don't know if she has any new podcasts in a while.
I haven't heard anything really either.
Yeah, I had Hunter on my podcast. Fuck, when was that? Was I injured when she was on? I might have been. Nah, I don't know. I might have had her on before the injury or after. I don't know. We're just gonna start basing everything in my life post injury and pre. Like I can't remember when I had her on. It might have been during. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I gotta go back and look.
The cool thing with her podcast, really, it kicked off a lot of like women in trades kind of coming together and
Yeah,
finding each other. And there was, a few other podcasts that came from it too. So it was really cool to see, her coming up through that and what she did for really women in trades.
hell yeah. You know who? Her name's Haley too. She runs the Blue Collar Baddies podcast.
Yeah, yep. Me and her talked about me coming on that, but she's trying to find enough women, in Michigan that want to do it. So it still might be a little while, but I'm definitely wanting to get on that one too.
I love her. She sent me a hat. I got the hat over there. Stickers. She has the Blue Collar Grind coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And I have like 4 packs of that out there. Oh my god, it's so good.
That's awesome.
I love the whole blue collar side of the internet, right? Like this is a lot of fun for me, right? Like
Yeah.
back when I didn't know what I was struggling with yet, right? It was nice to find people that were, going through the same experiences I was going through. And it was cool to have those conversations. And now there's other blue collar podcasts out there, right? Like mine and the Blue Collar Future, the Woman in Trades, the Blue Collar Baddies, the Blue Collar Podcast, and it's cool that and another one that just started. I can't believe Off the Clock podcast with I had him on here, Powder Slayer. I was episode 1 of his new podcast that just came out 2 years ago. Yeah,
I'll have to check that one out for sure.
Oh, man, his podcast for now is only on YouTube until he figures out how to get the audio over. I tried helping him out, but he doesn't have a laptop or a computer. So he can only do it from his phone, and there's a lot of editing that goes around with all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I was episode 1 of his podcast, man, and it was pretty cool to be a part of someone else's podcast and not have to be in the driver's seat, right? It was
that's really cool.
Yeah, it is pretty badass there. Do you know what viscosity is?
Yep.
What's viscosity? In your own words.
It's basically the like weight of or the speed of what something or fluid travels. I don't know. I kind of know what it is, but yeah.
Yeah. It's the weight of fluid. The thickness of your load. You don't have loads, but I mean, Jesus. Yeah. Well, fucking the podcast is sponsored by the Mudman, and the Mudman deals in viscosity on the rigs, right? The thickness of the fluid going down hole there for all your drilling fluid and laboratory testing equipment needs, man. I love that guy. Way back on episode 14, we went on a 5-episode run together where he sponsored the podcast with a headset and a mic, and we never really stopped doing what we're doing. So it was 5 episodes, like 140 ago. So, and then two summers ago now, he sponsored the podcast again. He hooked us up with a MacBook Pro for editing and shit like that. And that's what I record on now. Got me off the phone and stuff. So I love that guy. He's an incredible person. We talk enough, and he every time I say I need something on a podcast, he reaches out. He's like, so what can I do? Right. And fucking, I'm like, you've done enough, bro. Right. You've done enough. Right. And then, which leads me into the next one. I don't do them back to back like that ever, but like with the mental health talk, right? We podcast very pro mental health, and it's not just men's mental health; it's blue collar mental health and
Mhm.
people mental health. And um, a drilling consultant reached out to me last year, and he's like, "I like what you're doing with the mental health thing." He's like, "I want to know how I can, get my crew to be talking more mental health. I try to bring it up, but no one knows kind of where to go with it yet." We're trying, and we got on the phone, we talked, we had a mutual friend, Gord from the
Mhm.
Second Act podcast, and he sponsored the podcast this past summer with a Starlink. So now I have internet
Oh
wherever
yeah.
I go, and that comes in handy when I'm on site or in a town where the internet's shitty and I need to, record a podcast or make content, and that's there. So yeah.
Oh yeah. No, that's awesome. I want to try Starlink because even at my own house, I don't live far from town and I still can't get like good internet. It's
Get the
ridiculous.
Starlink. Get the
Yeah.
Starlink. It feels unfair to my phone. Like my phone feels like it's not good enough to keep up with the Starlink.
Oh my
Like I
God.
was on site the other day, zero cell service. I had two of my coworkers hook up to it,
Hmm.
and we were all getting like 200 megabytes per second. Right? It was just
Yeah.
like, this is awesome, right? He was watching his gay porn, and he was watching something else, and I was like scrolling, and yeah,
Oh gosh.
yeah, it was great. It was pretty good. Hell yeah. Yeah. No, I don't know, man. It's I appreciate you coming on the podcast though.
Yeah, I
This is
appreciate you having me on. Like I said, this was my first one, so I really do appreciate it.
popping all the cherries. Bleeding all over the place. I don't know if that's an appropriate comment, but
No, I don't care. I work in the oil field. I work around rig hands. I do way worse than that. I say way worse than that.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, no. Well, this isn't I feel like you'll be back on the podcast. We got to get you back on though, right? Like
Oh
it's
yeah.
yeah, I definitely feel like we'll have more to talk about, but yeah, for sure.
No, I'm down for that.
Hell yeah. Before we go though, I asked one last question, and Mount Rushmore has four of the most influential people. I almost said five. Holy shit. The four of the most influential people on the rock. And if Haley could have her own Mount Rushmore, four people that she looks up to, inspires to be, or that is inspired by, who would they be and why?
First one would definitely be my dad. He's worked in the oil field his whole life, so that kind of, I ended up going that way into the oil field too.
For
Just
you.
his work ethic and all that. So yeah, he would definitely be my first. Um, my mom would be my second. She has a lot of patience, and I don't know how she put up with me as a kid, so I definitely respect her for the patience she's had. Um, Third, I honestly gotta say is my daughter because I mean she has made me learn a lot about myself and just she's definitely opened up another side of me that I didn't even know I had. And then the fourth one would be definitely my boyfriend. We actually work in the at the same company and he was a rig hand, but he switched to the trucking side and he's taught me a lot about the field and has helped me out with a lot of stuff and has had my back through everything. So yeah, I've definitely had some good people to look up to in my life.
I love that. That's awesome. What's your dad do?
He was like he started out on rigs back in the 90s and then went to being a lease operator and moved up, pretty high up through that company and his company sold out, but then he ended up owning his own company, third party lease operating. It's easy to do. He already knows how to do it and it's really good money doing it, that way on your own.
Do you know what the prerequisite in Canada is to be a lease operator?
No, what is it?
Just learned this. One of my coworkers who's only been in the oil field for 3 years, no extra education, just got a job as a lease operator. The prerequisite is 3 years of oil field experience.
Really?
Yeah, the 3 years. I've been here for 16 years, bro. Like, I, I think it's. I gotta check out that. I gotta check that out. I gotta
You
do some snooping around here.
You know what's crazy though? I know quite a few people up here who have had no oil field experience get into a pumper spot.
Huh.
That's what I wonder. I'm like, how are you able to do that? They don't even know what they're doing, and you're out here watching everything, as what's going on. You don't even know what it is.
get trained. You like look. I don't know, bro. Like that's crazy to me.
Yeah,
That's
I
crazy to
mean,
me.
that definitely shouldn't be an entry-level spot, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like when that position is good, it's good. But when shit goes sideways, it could like
Yeah, you have to
you
know what you're doing.
oh yeah, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. I appreciate you coming on the podcast anyway. I first episode of 2026, year 3,
Hell
right?
yeah.
Year
I'll
3 of the
take
podcast.
it.
My podcast is old enough and has enough experience now to go be a lease operator.
You're right. Yeah. I mean, in Michigan, yeah, you can get right to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get this podcast is gonna be a lease operator. Not even me, just the podcast. Shit.
Uh,
Well, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it so much.
yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't get a phone call during that time.
Me
The
too.
oil field way. Like if you want dispatch to call you, make plans to do something.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah,
There you go.
absolutely, absolutely. Thanks for coming on, Haley, and stay frosty.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah.